say no kings, no dictators!
And 80,000 illegal immigrants with criminal records ordered deported from our country are tonight roaming free to threaten peaceful citizens.
Y yo le dije, pero ¿por qué me estás arrestando si yo estoy legalmente en este país, tengo un permiso de trabajo?
Не смотрит даже. Ксения, привет скажи маме. Привет!
My name is Ksenia and I'm a senior here at McDaniel College. I was born and raised in Kazakhstan, so I'm an international student here. Freshman year, when I first got here and I went to my first class, and I remember I was sitting there in class, it was a general chemistry class, and I'm sitting there, I'm looking around at people and they're like so diverse and different and everybody's talking and I'm just like, ooh, I don't even know if I can express myself correctly, even though like I know I can speak English, but then I have no idea what we're talking about at the same time. And then the professors, like, they start talking to you, they ask questions, and I'm just sitting there like, I know this, but at the same time, it feels weird. The vibe is different, and the way people even like look at you, it's so different, and I felt so out of place.
So it's a decision that my mom and my dad had. In Venezuela, the economy situation is pretty bad, and at the time it was definitely a lot worse. It was very hard to get food and to feel safe. And so my parents had a friend that lived here, and they were asking them if my brother and I could stay over here in America to have a better education, just to have a life, really. And so they asked if we could stay, and we said, well, they said yes, and then we agreed to come over, and that was 2018 when we moved.
So sometimes when I would go shopping with my mom, like at a grocery store, and she'd leave us alone for a second, there would be, people that would stare at us or at my mom, and sometimes they'd even ask if my mom was actually our mother or should be taking care of us. And that's just one of those challenges that my mom had to face, being an immigrant and then as well as having mixed children.
I think the biggest sacrifice is financial sacrifices. Like, my parents had to put in a lot of money for me to be here. But at the same time, I think I left my whole life back home. Like, my friends and my brothers, I don't get to see my youngest brother grow up. He's like 11 years younger, so sometimes I have no idea what's going on with him. And sometimes it really irks me. I'm like, like, I don't know who you are. And he's in the stage of like growing up. He's almost a teenager now. And like, I don't feel close to him at all. And every time I go back home, I'm like, you're a different person.
Hi, my name is Hope Safai. I am a double major in social work and Spanish with a minor in psychology. My dual identity is a strength and not a deficit. And all the sacrifices that my parents have made for me to be where I am is all because of them and their power and their strength through coming to America with really nothing and working hard to create this life that they've been able to provide for me, my brother, and the rest of my future.
Being fresh off the boat, as I call it, college student in North Carolina. So it was Swannanoa, North Carolina, which is a very small town in North Carolina, Western North Carolina. I think just people's inability to understand me when I was talking was a shock to me, because I'm speaking the Queen's English in my mind, and it was like a comprehension issue. Most people had a problem understanding me.
Well, I had to leave my family and my friends behind kind of back in Venezuela so me and my brother can have a successful life. Definitely my friends is something that I miss the most there. I don't talk to them as much as I wish I did because, everyone has a life now and we're doing different things. So it's harder to connect to them. But I remember the date that I said goodbye to them. It was, we met at one of my friend's house, and it was like the first time that we were all together, one outside of school, because it was hard to meet outside of school. And so we were celebrating, because it was nice being together. But like at the end, it got kind of sad because it's like, well, we're probably not going to see each other ever again. And it made me really sad because I miss my friends, and I wish I could see them again and talk to them in person. God damn it.
My favorite childhood memory is going to Jamaica for the first time with my mom and my sister. That was like an eye-opening experience, getting to meet my whole family, getting to see where my mom grew up, the house that she lived in with her brother and sister, and yeah, it was just amazing. Getting to meet all the people, eating the food. It was just an eye-opening experience that really like changed my perspective on my entire life.
As a Kurdish Iranian woman born to first-generation asylum-seeking parents, I've had the privilege of experiencing freedom in the United States. So during the Iranian Revolution in 1979, my grandfather was the military attaché to the brother of the Shah, and during the revolution, my grandfather had to make the difficult decision to move his family to the United States in hopes of just having a chance to survive.
Before coming to college, my knowledge of the United States was coming up for a week or two for summer vacation with my mom. My mom would come up and like shop for school supplies and stuff like that. And so it was Miami or New York City. So those were my ideal understanding of the United States, was metropolitan area. Then I came to college and it was in rural North Carolina, and that was a big difference. So I was kind of expecting the same kind of setting, city life, whatever. And then we started to fly from Atlanta to the actual airport, and it was just nothing but trees and trees and trees. And that's when I realized we were going not to a city. We were, in the country.
Especially with like Venezuela, now that it's more in the news than ever. I feel like because so many people have migrated away and like left the country, I feel like now we're kind of known, especially in other Latin American countries, as the people who have been moving away the most. My family lived in Ecuador and Mexico for a couple years before they moved here to America, and the xenophobia that they received in Ecuador and Mexico and here as well was not the best. They struggled a lot to get jobs because of who they were or where they were from. And it is, I feel like, especially harsh right now in America as well, with everything that's happening with ICE. It's like scary for them to go outside because, their English is not as good, right, as one would expect a person who lives there to be. But I worry about them in that. I don't want them to be in danger, but it's something that they have to live with now, now that they're here.
And my mom, after living a difficult life, raised in the forced teachings and practices of Islam, had the opportunity to come here to study during college.
This worker that when he found out that I wasn't from here, he just started pressing me about the war in Ukraine and Russia. He was just like asking me, like, what side are you on? Like, are you pro-Russia? Are you pro-Ukraine? And I don't really have strong political opinions, even though I might be a little more knowledgeable about what is happening there because it's closer to us. But that time I had to close my mouth and not say anything to avoid him pressing me further. And it was it was insane. Like, he cornered me and everything. One of my other coworkers had to come and save me. Like, she pulled me out.
I had a very idealized version of America in my head because I was little. And, you know, you watch movies and you watch shows and you see how school is and how cool people are and how the American dream is and how your life is going to be amazing once you are here. And obviously, now that I'm grown up and I'm in college and I'm doing things that I know more about the world, I realize that that's not really the reality of the country. I felt like I saw America as a way for me to have an opportunity of life that is true. And I think that is still a true thing about what I think about America. But now I see that it's not such a nice place. There's still things that are wrong with it, and obviously it's not as bad as in Venezuela. I don't think I could ever compare America to Venezuela, but I think I had such a dream of how school was going to be and the friends that I was going to have and the places I was going to go. I had this idea that I was going to go to Disney one day, and look at me, it's been 8 years and I haven't gone there. But you know, it's the things that made me happy and excited to be here at the time, but obviously it's not as easy as I thought it was going to be.
In my mind, the American dream is you come, you assimilate, you get the college degree, you get the job, you get married, you get the house, you know, you have 2.3 children, you know, all of the above, right? But now that I'm a parent, of young adults that are trying to make their way, I'm not seeing the American dream as what we were told it was in my when I was a young adult. So that part is very heartbreaking, actually, you know, to know that possibility is not real right now, you know.
I thought it was gonna be unicorns and rainbows. Just the American dream we all come for. It's all nice and shiny. The idea of the United States was really nice. Like, everybody's so accepting. You can do whatever you want. You can look however you want. Nobody's gonna tell you anything. But in reality, it's like the same thing as back home. Maybe it's not as conservative as back home. Depends on the people you're surrounded with. But like, the American dream is just the idea. Like, it doesn't really exist, I guess.
I never really got a chance to connect with my father's side because of how young he was when he came to America. And with my mother's side, a lot of them had the opportunity to immigrate to other countries as well. However, I do feel a disconnect with my true Iranian heritage. I had the opportunity of making true Iranian friends when I was studying abroad in Hungary, and just being able to understand and see how life really is in Iran in comparison to how it is portrayed on the media really helped me connect to who I am and the country that I come from.
I had people ask me stupid questions. I had a conversation with someone and they were talking about like going to the mall and stuff, and then they looked at me concerned and they were like, wait, do you know what a mall is? Do you guys have malls back home? Yes, we do. I had people ask me if we have trees back home. It's not terrible, but it's like, wow, this is insane. Like, what do you mean? You're asking me if we have trees back home? That's crazy.
I have had to hide parts of my identity to feel safe or accepted. Whether it was hiding the kind of food that I was eating, growing up because of the comments I'd get about the smell or how it looked or what it had in it. Definitely religion is a big factor in having to hide, especially during this time. I feel that it's really complicated and difficult to explain my feelings about the way the Islamic Republic has forced Islam and how that's impacted my faith. And definitely with Farsi being my first language, sometimes it is embarrassing speaking that in front of a group of new people that aren't familiar with my culture and what I'm speaking. And there's a lot of stigma around Iran and what everyone has heard. So sometimes it's really hard not being able to correct what the misconceptions that people have about my country.
I believe that there's things about myself that are different from other people that lived here, and some that are the same, just because feel like I've grown so much as a person here in America, and I'm definitely not the same as I was when I was a kid in Venezuela. But it's still something that people can never relate to, who I am. Growing up in a country that was very unsafe and feeling like I could never do anything by myself. Here, people can just go out to McDonald's or go to a fun restaurant or go out with their friends. And I never thought I would be able to do that growing up, because it was so scary to go outside.
I felt fully accepted here culturally when I connected with a group of African American young adults. And that was when I moved from North Carolina to DC. That was when I really felt accepted. Because I saw, of course, the similarities, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My parents definitely faced a lot of challenges, but did their best to protect my brother and I from seeing these challenges, growing up with no knowledge of the language, no social support, no money, really starting his life from scratch. My father had to work several jobs going up to help support his family, to help start the life that he once had in Iran all the way back here. So seeing his resilience and grit has really inspired me to show that really anything is possible. I mean, coming here, they had the opportunity, they had a dream, and this was their only chance for survival. So having that really allowed him to prosper and do the best that he can.
In Venezuela, I had this idea that I was, my family was going to be here, and I was going to have a place of my own, a car, I was going to drive places and visit whatever, and school was going to be so cheap, and it was going to be so fun and nice. But clearly that's not the case. I wish I had a car, and I wish I had a place of my own, and that college wasn't so expensive. But you know, as a kid, you really don't realize that's the world, or at least I didn't realize that was how America was.
The curiosity people bring, and I know sometimes they feel bad about asking so many questions, but it makes me so happy to answer them and to maybe educate them even, because I know like America is too big, so people don't have to leave it, and I just love like talking about my experience from back home and like comparing places, and I think it brings like a new perspective. And yeah, even the professors are like, oh, we actually have a person from a different country, so what's it like? Tell us about it. And I'm like, okay, it's my time to shine. I love that.
When I was in Venezuela, I knew that here in America you could go outside with a bike and go places that you wanted to go. And so I had this very idealized version of me biking to a store and getting something. And so once I was here and I got a bike, it was, I think, summer. And I took my bike and I biked all the way to Aldi's and I got myself some bread and like peanut butter or jam or something like that. And I felt the most proud of myself because this was something that I could have never done ever in Venezuela. And I was so happy about it. And I was sweating and I was hot and it was terrible, but I loved it.
So my favorite cultural dish is fried breadfruit, which is, breadfruit is just this fruit that they take down and they cut it up into slices and then they fry it put a little salt on it, and then, you eat it. And the story I have from that is, living with my mom, she had to work a lot, so sometimes she wouldn't be able to take care of us, especially during the summer when we weren't at school. So my grandfather from Jamaica would come up and he would take care of us during the summer, and in the mornings he would make fried breadfruit for breakfast, and that's like my favorite story.
When I moved here, I was very excited and worried about what my life was going to be like, because America is expected to be this country of opportunities and things that are, if you work hard enough, you're going to be able to accomplish so many things. And so that is something that I came with thinking that it was going to happen to me. And obviously, it is not as easy as people tell you once you moved here. I think a lot of countries in Latin America see America as this kind of beam of light or something, or like a place that it's going to give you a lot of things. And once you're here, you realize that things are a lot different than what you are kind of taught.
Immigrants bring to any country, not only the United States, they just bring their own flavor to the world, a different way of doing things, of expressing things, and it's always the world is always better when we include everyone.